I can tell you what the purpose of the feminine is, that you can't have one without the other. They're complementary. And so you have the image of the hero who saves the princess from chaos, let's say, who separates the potentiality that is useful from the potentiality that's destructive. Okay. That's usually what when you save the virgin from the dragon, it's as if you're taking potentiality that's useful. You're separating the a good way to say it, which is very Mesopotamian, is you're separating the salt water from the fresh water. So you have fresh water, which is useful, and you have salt water, which is deadly, right? And so that's this idea of the so the hero comes and he conquers the virgin, he conquers the maiden. Okay. Now the reason why he's conquering her is because she is giving him focus. Right? He wouldn't be a hero without her. He wouldn't do anything. He would just sit around and play video games and eat chips and that's what he would do, right? Because the feminine is the frame of reality. So
Okay.
An image, the best image of the feminine, I think one of the best images of is in scripture. You have Mary, who at the wedding of Cana, this is one of the most mysterious and amazing stories ever told. So Mary, there's this wedding and they run out of wine. And Mary says to Christ, they ran out of wine. So what she's doing is she's presenting a problem. She's presenting a quest. It's very little, it seems like a little quest, but she's presenting a quest. She's framing reality. She's saying, this is the frame. Now you have to answer the question. Here's the question. You answer the question. But that question, that's a very, very powerful thing. I don't think you can understand how powerful that is. There's a great quote in My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which looks very cliche or kind of silly when you hear it, but everybody has heard it, where the woman says to her daughter, she says, the man is the head of the household, but the woman is the neck. And it's a great quote. It's an amazing insight into the feminine, because what she's saying is the woman will decide what the man looks at. She will frame reality. She's going to give him the frame, and then he's going to answer, but he's going to answer within that frame. So when Mary says, there's no wine, she's saying, okay, act. Reveal yourself. Manifest the logos. But manifest it in this question. Right? It would be silly if she said, there's no wine, and then Christ, changes stones into bread. Like, why are you changing stones into bread? I said there's no wine. Right? That's the issue. That's the frame. Now act within that frame. Okay. And so that's why, Jordan Peterson talks about this, but you can understand it at a very deep level. That's why the stories like Beauty and the Beast are about a woman who tames a wild man. She gives him purpose. She focuses his energy so that he can act, right? And so the idea would be that the feminine hero's journey is to properly frame reality. That sounds very abstract, but in practice, it can be extremely practical, right? It can be extremely practical, because that's also what, that's also in a way what mothers do with children, right? They create a frame within which the children will act. And that frame is extremely important. That house, that home, all of that is extremely important. But it's not limited to the idea, like I said, of it's not limited to the kind of cliche 50s wife of making a home, although it's part of it. But there is really this more powerful image, which is that without the frame, there's nothing. Nothing happens. Because the logos manifests himself. An answer only comes from a question.
Okay.
If there's
I,
no
I
question,
love
there's
that.
no speaking.
Oh,
If
okay.
there's no question, there's no manifestation.
So, okay, does it make sense to say that women, so women are the question slash, sorry, not women. I guess you could say feminine or women. Like they're the call to action. They're the question.
Yeah. But
Okay.
it's really important to understand that the call to action is more than what you think. It's more than just a call to action. It's an actual framing of reality. It's deciding what's important.
Okay.
It's actually it's relevance realization in the way that John Vervaeke talks about it. It's framing the discourse.
Okay.
So framing the discourse is comes before the discourse.
Oh, I'm just thinking Mother Nature came first.
Well,
It's all being revealed, Jonathan.
well, you can see that if you look at the imagery in scripture, you have this sense that there is this the chaos or the matrix. It's like it is like desire in a way. It's like calling, it's asking, it's saying what. So what is going to come of this? Like what is going to happen? And so, but that question is, like I said, is the very primordial, and you can see it in the story of Mary at the wedding of Cana, because she is basically bringing Christ to into his mission. And that's why when she says there's no wine, Christ answers, my time is not yet come, which is just sounds like the craziest answer to answer, because he's basically saying, I'm not ready to die. But she's asking him about wine. Like, why is it that she's asking him that saying there's not wine? And he's saying, hey, wait a minute, I'm not ready to die yet. Because he understands that she is actually opening the door for him, and she's saying, here's your path. Take it.
Okay.
This is it. Like, I'm opening the door. You have to take the path now.
Okay. How many times have I read that? I've never seen.
Wait, you've
Oh,
never
truth's
seen
being
that?
revealed. But I've read it. I have a degree in Christian studies and minor in
Oh,
Christian
you've never
history, but
seen that in the
I've
text?
I've read it and I know the story, but I've never seen I've never seen it. Like, do you know what I mean?
So,
Like I
but
didn't
Eve
see the
does the same thing.
symbolism.
Eve does the same. Mary is an anti-Eve. Eve takes the apple. What are you going to do, Adam? Are you going to bite it or not? And he bites. She
Okay.
presents possibility, and he takes the bait. And but Mary does the same. Mary is basically, and it's exactly the same, but it's in reverse, because
Right.
Eve is leading Adam to death,
Okay.
and Mary is leading Christ to death.
But
Because
it's
he
in
says it's not my time yet. He knows it's going to lead him to death. He knows he's going to die if he does this.
right. But there is salvation
That's
waiting.
right. That's it. That's the transformation of death into glory that I'm always talking about, and that's what's
Okay.
happening in that story.